What's up, guys? It's been 2000 yugioh, your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh superhero, and today's video is going to be, shall we say, hellish. Get it? Because it's fire versus darkness, hellish. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna, yeah, just roll the intro. Guys, so I figured today I'm gonna do a little bit of a recap for this type of video that I've been making, because I have a crap ton of new people here, and so again, thank you, Caleb. If you happen to come across this video, thank you again for the shout out, and for all the new people here, I'm glad you decided to subscribe. I'm hoping you guys will enjoy the content I'm creating. So back to the task at hand. Today's video is another episode of what I call the Structure Deck Wars. So basically, if you don't know what this is my ongoing experiment to determine which deck of all the structure decks is actually the strongest. Now, the rules are really simple. It's one box of the structure deck unedited versus one box of another structure deck unedited. So there's no variancy element to this. This is strictly one box versus one box of all the structure decks. And basically, today's matchup is Onslaught of the Fire Kings versus Lair of Darkness. So, hence the hellish comment at the beginning. I still think that's funny. I don't care what you guys say. So, that is basically our goal is to with this line of videos, is we're going to be finding out what actually is the strongest structure deck. So, by pitting them all 46 of them against each other. So, and today is episode 12. So, without further ado, guys, if you're new here, hold on, before I get into that, if you're new here, guys, the way this video works is we're going to cut some replay footage where you're going to see the decks against each other in action, and then make sure you stick around to the after the replay footage so you guys can understand, so we can have a conversation and I can explain to you which structure deck won and why. So, without further ado, guys, let's go watch some Fire Kings and some Demons go fight each other. It'll be fun. there you have it, guys. The winner of this bout is Onslaught of the Fire Kings. I know that that's a bit of a, probably a bit of a shocking one, but I'm going to explain why. So first things first, before we can I can explain why this deck won looking at the Fire Kings, why don't we quickly come over and look at, well, hello. My four-legged friend decided to pop in for a little visit again. Well, hello, Mr. CC. Okay, so first things first, we want to look at is what do you call it? Not Onslaught of the Fire Kings, the Lair of Darkness structure deck. So one of the issues that this deck has, for the reason why it lost to the other deck, is because you really need your Darkest Diabolos, and you really need your Field Spell. This is a very Field Spell reliant deck. Now, that wouldn't normally be a problem because, you know, every deck has a multitude of strategies. But one of the issues is that, in particularly, is that this deck only gets to use one because that's part of the rules of this little tournament. So, if it didn't draw one of those two cards with an attribute effect somewhere involved in there, this deck really had a struggle going off, and that's just, you know, how it was. But that being said, you know, it's not that this deck is bad, or I mean, I'll put it to you this way: if it had probably been like 3 structure decks, and we actually were gonna try to find the optimal build for every structure deck, I'm sure that that Lair of Darkness would have beat Onslaught. However, because of the rules of this particular tournament, this deck bricked. I mean, it hardcore bricked, and not every monster in this deck has the ability to do tributes. And if they don't get their field spell, they don't get to tribute the opponent's monster. The virus cards are powerful, but oftentimes one of the issues I saw or I noticed is that this deck would have dark monsters to tribute, but the wrong trap card to tribute them. Like, for example, having Dark Light and not having a monster with more than 1500 attack. Or the opponent wouldn't have special summon monsters, so it couldn't activate. You know? That brings us back over to the first deck, the deck that won, Onslaught of the Fire Kings. Now, this deck actually does well against destruction. And that is another issue, is some of the cards that are going to destroy cards are, well, some of the virus cards destroy monsters. So that was another advantage this deck actually had, you know. Now that didn't present itself, but if we look back over at it again, I'm pretty sure if we look at all the virus cards, let's see here, destroy all those monsters. Let's see here, with 1500 defense or less. Let's see here. This one, I don't think this is one of the ones that doesn't. Cards destroyed and sent to the graveyard by this effect can activate their own effects in the same turn. Yeah. Okay, so this card destroys. That's another issue. That was another. Yeah. There we go. Like a lot of the virus ones, especially the ones that destroyed monsters, they did so. You know, they would cause the Fire King's effects to go off, and that was great for getting rid of resources, but if they drew any of their Fire Kings, or the cards that really benefited off being destroyed, like Avatar Garunix and Nephthys here, the Fire King deck would have just, you know, gone plus and wiped out their field, and it was, yeah. But overall, yeah, this deck just, it had an advantage in not needing a field spell. If we compared beaters, yes, their beaters were stronger, but, you know, we have a lot of cards to make our beaters bigger. Like, for example, Burden of the Mighty and Blast with a Chain. And going plus was super easy because, like, you know, especially in this very limited format, which is how we have for this tournament set up, you know, battle is kind of a primary way of getting rid of cards, you know, especially in structure decks. So yeah, that's the big reason why Fire King, the Onslaught of the Fire King structure deck takes the win. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. If you guys have something in mind that you think could improve the series, make sure you leave that in the comments below. Give me one of these to let me know that you're enjoying this series. This is an ongoing series on my channel. To this little experiment, we're going to find out which is really the strongest structure deck all on its own. Alright, guys. If you're new to the Ben 10,000 yugioh channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing. I have a few announcements to make later, maybe later this week. We'll see. I do have another video coming up this week, and then we'll see what's happening. All right, guys. I'm Ben 10,000 yugioh. I'm your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh superhero, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. Okay, guys. Admittedly, something crazy just happened while I was in the middle of editing this video. So this has been added last second, which is why you have the crappy vertical cam going on here. But we just hit 600 subs. Like, legitimately, wow. Wow. Just thank you, Caleb. I know the reason why I'm even here as quick as I am is because of you, Cyber Knight. So if you happen to have made it this far in the video, thank you again, brother. I completely appreciate this. This is, my jaw almost hit the floor this morning. Oh man. So in celebration, what we're gonna do is we're going to do a 600 subscriber live stream this Friday. So make sure that you guys check that out this Friday. We will do a live stream, and yeah, I'm excited. Peace.